Hello everyone, this is my review for Monday Night Raw on May 6, 2013, and just to say right off the get-go, I felt that Raw this week was a fairly good Raw. It wasn't anything spectacular, but they did some decent story building into most of the matches going into Extreme Rules. I definitely like the fact that they're interjecting everybody into the triple threat world heavyweight title match into the feud. You have the sense that's more of a triple threat, that it's not just two people dominating the storyline. Now you have all three. They're interjecting Ziggler in there in a much better light. I enjoyed the match between him and Alberto Del Rio this week, and then of course the continuation of the build of the feud between all three of them was done, decently well. They wanted to put over Jack Swagger this week, so they had Jack Swagger go over and basically perform the beatdown right after the disqualification to the match. I felt that the segment was actually fairly well done at that point, and just another good way of continuing to build the feud between all three of them going into the pay-per-view match. Also, where I feel like there was a couple areas I felt were kind of lacking on the show. One of them is the whole Randy Orton Big Show feud. It's been nothing more than just Big Show randomly attacking Randy Orton recently. I kind of wish they would just announce the match for Extreme Rules, because that's where they're going to go with it. And then whatever stipulation that they're going to add to it, because it's kind of becoming a little bit more mundane, the fact that Big Show continually just attacks Randy Orton after he's done with a match, or causing a distraction and having Randy Orton get beaten down from that. It's kind of becoming mundane, and hopefully things will change here by Friday or even next week, with Extreme Rules being so close. Oddly enough, the Chris Jericho Fandango area I felt was also kind of lacking on the show. It just felt really weird having Chris Jericho come out there to just judge or do like the scorecard type deals for Fandango's match, and it really didn't seem to fit in all that well to me. Obviously, Chris Jericho is very entertaining on the mic, and I did enjoy his promo before the match, but just how Fandango's match went with R-Truth, and having Chris Jericho and then, of course, Tensai and Brutus Clay actually doing judging down on the outside the ring just made it feel extremely weird, and it didn't really come off all that good in my mind. So hopefully things will pick up with that as well here in the near future as well. Also, the Caitlyn Secret Admirer type deal. It's pretty obvious where they're going to go with this. They're probably going to just make AJ the actual secret admirer for Caitlyn, to try to play some mind games going into maybe a match of Extreme Rules or whenever they're going to do the Divas title match. Also, the six-woman tag match just really didn't come off all that good. Now, granted, it's the Divas, and not all their matches are relatively good, or even more than 2 minutes in most cases. It just felt a little bit more awkward this week that they just had the Bella Twins walk out on AJ. It didn't really seem to fit in for the heels to be kind of turning on the other heel at that point, unless they're going to be trying something next week with with them being disqualified from the Battle Royal a few weeks back or something in that sense. But it really just didn't make any sense to me at this point. So we'll see if they go anywhere with that, or they continue on with the secret admirer type deal going into the future, and when they actually reveal who that is for Caitlyn. More than likely it'll just be AJ. But for the most part, outside of that, I felt the show was actually really good. The Ryback John Cena confrontation right at the beginning of the show, where they named the match for Extreme Rules. I like the aspect that they went with a last man standing match. I think this is probably the best route to go for their match at Extreme Rules. They can play up to Cena's injury at that point with the Achilles heel, and they can, they have a few things that they can do with that. I know, and a couple times this year they've gone the more smart, or the person winning the match go the more smart route of actually winning the last man standing match versus the total knockout type endings that you usually get with the last man standing matches. And I kind of hope this isn't the route that they go, that they just pull off some kind of duct taping moment or anything like that. They've already done that a few times this year with Alberto Del Rio and Big Show, and it definitely worked for that feud. I don't think it would work for this feud in any way, shape, or form. I think it would hurt the other whoever that happens to more than it actually helps. So hopefully that's not the route that they go, but I did definitely like the aspect of the making it a last man standing match. It definitely fits for this feud, and hopefully it'll end up being a really good match at Extreme Rules. Also, I like the aspect that it seems like they're trying to rebuild Antonio Cesaro. He delivered a really good promo after his match with Zack Ryder this week, and hopefully this is just an indication for them trying to rebuild him into maybe a better character or something in that sense. So we'll see where they go with that. I've always liked Cesaro in the ring, so hopefully they're gonna continue with him. Continue with him here in the future. The six-man tag with the Shield versus Kofi Kingston and the Usos was actually a fairly entertaining match. A little disappointing that you didn't get any altercation between Shield and Team Hell No until later on in the after the main event. But all in all, that six-man tag was actually a very good match to watch as well. The backstage segment with Ryback, Daniel Bryan, and Kane was also really well done. I like the aspect that you get that heelish type feel from Ryback now. He's getting better and better with being a heel. I liked how it's almost like he was showing compassion to Daniel Bryan because he knows he wasn't 100% type deal, so he says no to his challenge and then accepts Kane's challenge just a few moments later. The match with Kane and Ryback was a fairly decent match as well. All in all, it wasn't too terribly long, but with two bigger men, you get a lot of those type of matches where they're not really good. They did a really good job. I like the way that and I also like the way that they worked into getting Ryback to do the shell shock as well, where Kane was set up on the ropes. It made it a little bit easier to pull off that move. And honestly, the shell shock maneuver looks so much more impressive when it's done to a big man to begin with. So that match was really good in my mind. I liked Shield coming out afterwards and making it look like Ryback was gonna just walk away type deal, and then of course you have John Cena come out, and then of course Daniel Bryan and John Cena come out to go face to face with the Shield, and Ryback comes in and starts chasing him away with a chair, and then just in tow decides to waylay John Cena with it. I liked that. It was a good way to actually end the show in general, for the Ryback to actually beat over John Cena, where in the past Cena has been more favored over Ryback in the endings for these shows. So it was nice to see them change it up to where Ryback was shown as the more dominant force at the end of the show. This actually brings me to the last thing I'll talk about, and it was the Triple H, Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar segment. I found it very entertaining with what they did with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar at the WWE headquarters. Them just going through everything and showing what they were seeing going up to Triple H's office. The destruction of the office, of course, it was just a really entertaining segment. It actually, of course, was helped out a lot by what Paul Heyman was saying, and they did a really good job with that segment. And then the retort with Triple H afterwards was also really well done in that aspect. So I feel like that feud's really building up pretty decently. You obviously can't expect too much in the terms of physical altercations between them on Raw or SmackDown, because typically Brock's not going to be there, or Triple H can't be there for whatever reason. So all in all, I like the way they're building up to the steel cage match. The promo this week was really well done, so hopefully we'll see something more with it next week on there for the final Raw before Extreme Rules. So overall, like I said, outside of what I said before, where what I felt were the down points of the show, I felt Raw was a really good show this week. It wasn't overly spectacular or great, but it wasn't really that bad either. So I would give it a good rating on that aspect. So that's my review of Monday Night Raw this week. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.